The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello. Hello.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's audible now.
Okay, guys. I was just waiting for the people. Actually, the people still they're sending me a request to wait for some time to start the class because it's a weekend. In this weekend, they're still on the way to reach home. That's the reason I think still people are joining. But we cannot wait for more time here because I have already a list of people here who is waiting for the class. So let's start the class, and people may be joining slowly one by one. So we cannot wait for them. So let's start the class. End of the class, I will be sharing this the, the recorded session of this video. This particular class is getting recording, so I'll share the recording videos for all each and every participant here. And okay, welcome back again. Let's start this class, or let's start the session today. This today's session is agenda is going to be, I'm going to explain what exactly this course and what is this course belongs to, who can do this course, and what is the benefit of this course, end of this course, what are you going to learn, and is it really going to help you. And if you see the title, it says SAP HANA BW BOBJ. It's a BOBJ, we call it a business objects. It is an implementation program. Okay, project implementation program you can call us. So this course is not a regular course which is available in the markets. This is completely a customized course. A customization in the sense, this course is completely focused on a project based, or I can say on job training, I can say that. So what exactly this course is going to help you? If you do this course, you're going to learn what exactly the real-time scenario, how the people, like for example, let's say being as HANA or BW consultant, what is their day-to-day activities, how they log into the system, how they will accept the activities or task, how they will get the requirements, how they will start the requirement, and how they do the designing or modeling by using this HANA Studios, a BW workbench or BW system or business object system. So how they're going to use all these tools or software to build their data model based on the requirements what they're going to receive on day to day, a daily basis. So this is exactly like I'm going to prepare you in the way once you get into a job or project which doesn't require to depend on anyone. You can start working by your own or independently, accepting any kind of requirements, and start designing and developing your HANA based models or BW based models, and start designing your reports. So this is completely a customized and very unique structure of the course. This course is really going to help the people who is going to looking for a career as a HANA consultant, a BW consultant, or business objects, or like reporting consultant, I can say that. But I cannot divide this into different parts. Nowadays, if you get into a job, for example, let's say a business intelligence or BI consultant or HANA consultant, they're going to expecting now. I'm talking about the present situations in the market. Being as a HANA consultant, for example, a company recruits you as a HANA consultant. They're going to expecting you to work on HANA plus BW on HANA plus you have to work on business objects as a reporting tool, where you're going to end up creating a reports on business objects. So this business objects is always is like you're going to be the last tool which you're going to work to design and develop your output or reports to present these reports to your business users. So here you can expect a three different types of courses here. You're going to learn HANA, you're going to learn BW on HANA, and you're going to learn a business objects. But business objects, I'm not going to teach you a complete course here. The business objects I'm going to teach you in this particular course, especially which is related to BW and HANA. So you're going to learn how to create a reports based on HANA data sources and BW data sources, which is that much is enough for this course. And I have a different course where you can learn completely business objects, but this much is enough in your day-to-day regular the job life. And coming back to this, once you've done this course, you can apply for a jobs like a HANA consultant. You can apply for a jobs like a BW on HANA consultant. So we have a various jobs where we can apply for. So this course is not a single course. We are mixed different courses like HANA plus BW plus business objects. So three different courses are included in this particular course. And you're going to learn step by step how to start designing and development of your data models, extracting the data from the various data sources, including SAP or non-SAP data sources, and how do you work with the BW on HANA. Guys, if you observe, I am keep stressing a word called BW on HANA. So this is the latest trend in the market. So there is no more BW, it's BW on HANA. Okay, so BW was like an old story, it's history. Now the hot cake in the market is going to be BW on HANA. So you have each and every company has been migrated on BW on HANA. HANA is going to be your backend database. On top of that, you have a BW system. So it has a wonderful features where you can work with the HANA and get those HANA modules into BW, and where you can design data models in BW, you can get it back to HANA. See, for example, if you ask me that, let me say that, let me get my pen here. So it will be like this. So if you say, for example, let's say I have my BW system. I have my BW system, the BW system, and I have the backend is going to be my HANA system. So if you have a backend is a HANA system, this is going to be your HANA system. So if it is a HANA system, then whatever you're going to design in a BW, it is going to store in HANA. So once you open your HANA, you can see all your BW models in your HANA database. So you can, based on these models, you can still design in HANA based on your HANA models like calculation view, analytical views, attribute views. You can still use your HANA to design your BW models as a data source. We're going to talk about why should I design in BW and why should I use in HANA. And the same way, for example, if I have a HANA system, if I design anything, I can get it into BW system. It's like, since the backend is HANA database, it will become very easy for you to consume your HANA models into BW system and consume your BW models into your HANA system. So we're going to learn what is the purpose, why should we use a BW models in HANA, in which situation, and when, at what exactly the requirement, in what cases I can consume the HANA models into BW system. This is your regular and real-time scenarios in your regular projects. This is what we're going to do it. I design something in HANA, and if I have, for example, I design a view and I want to use this view into BW. For what? Which situation I'm going to use, and what type of requirement, what is a business case. So we're going to discuss about all these things. So what we need to understand here is, this course we're going to learn the subject, at the same time we're going to learn the project activities, like, which is really going to help you guys. Believe me that there are a lot of courses available in the market like BW, HANA. The people will be teaching you on online. They will be teaching you like what is what, how do you do that, but nobody will teach you what happens exactly in projects, and nobody will teach you how do you move the objects from the development system to quality to production. So what is a process, what is a procedure, what procedure company follows. For example, whenever you design something in development system, if you want to transport those models into quality system, then we have to create a transport request. So we're going to learn that how do you create the transport request. This is exactly where the people are getting stuck up if you go to the real time, if you get into the project, because you know the subject, you learn the subject, but nobody will teach you how do you move the transports, what is a transport request, what is a change request, what is a change document, what is like, tool we're going to use to transport this, and how do I start this procedure, to whom I need to ask. It's because if you don't know this one, you get stuck up there, you're going to hang up there. There is no way of moving out, because no one will teach you unless until if you're experienced into that particular procedure. So that part will be covered in this particular course. This is really going to help you. You don't need to depend on, you don't need to ask any questions to your colleagues or co-workers like, boss, I learned HANA, I have a very good knowledge, I did a lot of practice in HANA and BW, but I don't know how to move the objects from the landscape, like development to quality and quality to production. So what tool I need to use, what is the transaction codes I need to use, what is the commands I need to use, and what is a tool, what is a tool name. The tool name is called solution manager. you have to open the solution manager, then you have to attach your transport request into solution manager, then you send this information to your concerned people to approve that, then they have to release that particular the transport request. Once they release the transport request, whatever the design you created in HANA system or BW system, those models or designs, I can say, it will be available into the quality system. This is what exactly we're going to learn. It's I can say in another way, it's completely like you are on project. You are on a project, I'm guiding you. How do you need to do your work and day-to-day work? As simple as that, I can say that it's like on-job kind of training. So this is exactly the purpose of this course. The title is going to be like, and you can say it's an HANA BW and BOBJ. How this implementation happens, we're going to work with the business cases, like we take real-time business scenarios, we'll understand the requirement, then we'll start designing that, then we'll start developing that, then we will use the lifecycle management, application lifecycle management to transport these objects in your landscape. I'm going to explain to you what is a landscape, how the real-time situation, how the real-time HANA Studio looks like. For example, guys, if you see this, I have here a HANA Studio. This HANA Studio, if you see that here, this is going to be like a completely educational software. If whatever you see here, this is not going to be the same case where you can see in your real time. The real time, it will be completely different. So what are you going to see in real time? The real time, you're going to see that what is like, how many systems will be there. Let me open this perspectives. I'm going to open development. Okay, if you see, I have a certain systems here. So in real-time situation, in real time, when you get into a job, how do you need to log in, and what is your user ID, how it will be displayed, and how the number of systems will be displayed. We call this is a landscape, and what each systems will be do. Is it a common for each and every company, or is it a common for each and every project? We're going to see a list of the servers or systems. We're going to discuss about all the stuff. So you have to understand that once you get into a project, you need to understand how to log in. You need to understand how to work with the landscape systems. Then you need to understand what kind of access or authorizations you're going to get by default, how to request them from your basis team, how do you request a developer access, how do you request access to a particular servers. So those things will be discussed in this particular course. So this is what exactly this course going to be this course going to help you a lot, especially when you get into a job. So you're going to see that without any dependency on anyone, or calling your friends, or finding out, or checking with your colleagues, like how do I open that, how do I request that, and how do I delete that, and how do I like move this object. So all this stuff will be discussing, and you're going to learn that. Apart from that, we're going to work on business cases. We're going to work on real time. I'm going to give you some real time kind of business cases, like how you're going to get the requirements in a documents, in a discussions, in a like functional specification documents, a technical specification documents. How do you understand that? And based on the understanding, how do you start designing the models? And is it like you're directly jumping into a HANA Studios or BW system, or how do you start that? So you're going to first designing in your paper what you have understand. Based on the design, you're going to start implementing into your system. So these are the topics we're going to learn. So this is a brief information about this particular the course, like agenda. So what we're going to learn and how this is really going to help you. And coming back to this course, I'm going to show you that what are the topics will be covered in this particular course. This particular course is going to be completely a BW and HANA course, I can say that. So BW and HANA, so we're going to learn completely HANA and BW related HANA and reporting. So we're going to learn here what is a HANA and why HANA is like a hot cake in the market. What is the architecture of your HANA? Then we're going to discuss about the use cases. Then we start introducing your HANA Studio. and what exactly HANA database concepts. Then we're going to learn about all the database concepts like schemas, tables, views, synonyms, triggered sequences, which is related to HANA. Then when you start learning HANA, you have to learn about SQL script, which is completely related to HANA. So we're going to start from the basics of SQL. In case if you don't know SQL script, no need to worry. I'm going to teach you from the scratch. So because if you're learning HANA or BW on HANA, SQL script is going to be, it's like I can say, it's a heart of the course. Without SQL script, you cannot do anything in your HANA system, which is very important for any HANA consultant. You should be very strong in SQL script. So you're going to start learning basics of SQL and we jump into advanced level. So no need to worry about this one. In case if you're not aware of what is an SQL, how to learn that will be covered in this course. I'm going to start from the basics and what is an SQL. Then we enter into advanced level of programming called stored procedures. Then we can start working with the triggers and all the stuff, cursors, I can say arrays, conditional statements, looping statements. Then we're going to work with the stored procedures. Then we're going to work with the SQL functions and C functions. These are all advanced the programming concepts. Then we enter into a debugging of your programming at stored procedures. If in case if you get any errors, how do you start debugging all the stuff? And then we enter into SAP HANA modeling. We're going to start learning about all the modeling concepts, like how many contents are there. Like we have information models called attribute views, analytical views, and calculation views. How do we create them? Then we're going to talk about each and every information models in depth. Then we enter into the privileges and analytical privileges, very important concept. Then we enter into performance tuning and how do you optimize your the design of models, like by using your SQL queries or whatever it is. Then we enter into the reporting. This is exactly where your reporting concept comes to the picture. So we're going to work with the information design tool and web intelligence. I can say that Webby we call this one. Then we'll learn about a little bit SAP Lumira, then Design Studio. But this is, we are not going to focus complete into this particular business objects, because business objects is a very big course. It will take again 8 to 9 weeks of time. So we're going to learn about reporting, which is related to HANA and BW. So how do I design or create reports based on my HANA models or BW models? And then we enter into the data provisioning. How do you extract the data into HANA system by using a various extraction tools? For example, business objects data services, and we have a SAP landscape transformation system, and DXE flat files, and bulk loading of flat files, and smart data access, and smart data integration. These are the very important concept in, especially in this particular course, because this is where exactly we're going to spend your time initially. So once you're perfect in this particular data provisioning, if you get the data what you're expecting into HANA system, then your work becomes much easier. Otherwise, most of the time we're going to get stuck up here. We're going to ending up with some data mismatches, data not extracted, data extraction errors. So we're going to resolve all kind of data extraction related topics here. Then coming back to your application lifecycle management, we're going to learn about how to import and export your HANA objects. Then we enter into HANA development. We start designing of your HANA based design and development of your database. This is where exactly your BW and HANA comes to the picture. This is a BW powered by HANA. We're going to learn about HANA optimized info cubes, HANA optimized DSO, very important nowadays, because all the current projects we're going to use most of the time. And how do you use a transist provider? Then how do you consume the HANA models in BW? and importing BW objects into HANA. So this is a two different cases. Which situation I need to get HANA models into BW, and which situation I have to get BW objects into HANA. This is very important. Actually, we have to learn this because day-to-day life, you need to decide if you get any requirement, you need to decide where you have to start. Do I need to start from HANA or do I need to start from BW? That we're going to discuss again. Then we're going to talk about operational data provisioning using like sources ECC, SLT, HANA views. Then the landscape, we're going to talk about LSA, then advanced DSO, then open ODS views, composite. These are all the advanced modeling concept which is related to BW powered by HANA. Then composite providers, HANA transformations, abap managed database procedures, we call it AMDP. They're going to ask you in interviews what is an AMDP. Are you aware of AMDP? Say we need to say ABAP managed data procedures. So then we start about what is a nearline storage in HANA, then BW workspaces. Then we talk about ECC powered by HANA. Now it is a latest now. Your ECC system or SAP ERP system now powered by HANA. So what are the concepts are there? So we're going to learn those concepts as well. So end of this course, I'm going to discuss about how to crack HANA interview. So what are the very important questions they're going to ask you in interview? How do you answer them? So nowadays, if you observe that most of the interviews are happening, they're going to testing your real-time experience, not your theoretical or practical experience. They're going to talk about like, I have a situation like this, what do you do? These kind of questions will be there more. They're not going to ask you what is a HANA, what is a BW. They're not going to ask you simple questions like this, or they're not going to ask you very complicated questions like that. What is a procedure? How do you write that one? Those are not related questions nowadays in interviews. Now all the interviewers are focusing on the consultant real-time experience. They're going to ask you, for example, let's say, they're going to ask you, do you have experience in procedures? If you say yes, okay, can you give me a situation and when you have created a procedure, why you have created a procedures, what is a business case? They're going to ask you these kind of questions. So you have to be very careful when you're answering those questions, because unless until if you don't know that which situations you have to go for procedures and which situations you have to go for. For example, let's say that I have a calculation views in HANA. So I have two different types of calculation views. Let's say I have graphical calculation views and I have a scripted calculation views. I have two different types of calculation view. They're going to ask you that, let's say I'm going to give you a requirement. In this requirement, I ask you to use a calculation view. So which one are you going to select? Are you going to use a GUI graphical calculation view, or are you going to use a scripted calculation view, and why? So these kind of very tricky questions, very typical questions, very complicated. This is like, unless until if you don't have a real-time exposure, it is very impossible to answer this kind of questions. So they're going to ask you, let's say I'm going to say that I'm going to use a scripted calculation view. They're going to ask you, why not GUI? So what is a purpose? Why you selected scripted? What exactly made you to select scripted? Then you have to explain, yeah. So if based on your requirement, let's say scripted calculation view has these features, and these features can be only implemented by using a scripted, but not in GUI. And for example, if your requirement is a different way, so I can use GUI because GUI has these features which is not available in scripted, so I cannot go for scripted. So according to your requirement, I can suggest you that better you can go for graphical calculation view. So these are the questions, very important. So if you answer these questions, the interviewer going to get a idea or he is going to get like an opinion. Okay, this particular person has a real-time exposure. This guy knows something. So this is what exactly they're trying to understand. They're not going to test your technical skills. They're going to test your technical skills along with your real-time exposure. They're going to ask you, like, for example, I have a requirement. So the business user doesn't know that, how you going to do that? And you have two systems. You have a BW and HANA. Now can you tell me, based on this requirement, are you going to use a BW or are you going to use an HANA? Why? So these are very tricky questions. Unless until I don't have a real-time exposure, right, it is impossible for me to answer. So we're going to discuss that, and we're going to learn how to explain these kind of tricky questions in interviews. And I'm going to provide you a list of important interview questions, which is going to help you to crack your interviews at least like 70%. If you learn properly, if you follow the course properly, 70% of your interview can be successful. I can say that. But again, you have to spend a lot of time for learning the concept. It is not simply reading the questions and going for interview. No. Unless until if you don't know the concept, it is not possible for you to answer this thing. So I am going to help you to how to crack the interview. At the same time, I need your cooperation. You have to start preparing very hard. So every class should be prepared properly. You have to complete your activities which is provided in your the day-to-day daily classes. Then only you can start getting a confidence to clear your interviews. So end of this course, we're going to talk about all the complicated questions, how to answer. I can say that most common asked questions, I can also say FAQs, frequently asked questions. How do you answer them, and technically, and how do you answer real-time questions? So these kind of questions nobody going to teach you, or nobody, it is not going to available in a Google or somewhere. We have to, while learning, it is completely comes by based on your experience, and how many interviews you have attended, and what is the day-to-day. There is a one question very common for any interview, especially if you ask me. I'm not sure about other technologies because I'm into only BW and HANA and BOBJ. So if you ask me about HANA BW related interviews, one question that is 100% sure, it's like a short sure question. It's going to be, what is a complicated data modeling you done? What is a complicated reporting you have created? So it's very hard to answer this kind of questions. You should have already met. They're going to ask you in a SQL script, what is a complicated program you have written? So we need to understand the concept, then only you can answer these kind of questions. So I'm going to give you certain complicated activities, complicated reports and description, which you can read and understand, you can help, which helps you to answer this kind of questions. So we're going to discuss, and we're going to start working with the complicated reports, then which is very easy for you to answer in your interviews. So this is exactly what we're going to do in this particular course, guys, and this is all about your codes. And coming back to your codes, then we're going to talk about HANA, and we're going to talk about your BW on HANA. So here I'm going to teach you a BW, but not from the scratch, which is not required for you. I'm going to teach, because you guys have already attended, I believe, one of my course. That is exactly, I'm going to repeat the same thing. So I'm going to teach you BW concepts, BW HANA related concepts, but you're going to learn 100% HANA and 100% BW on HANA, and I can say around like reporting, a business objects tool, if you ask me, only related to BW and HANA reportings we're going to learn. So coming back to the HANA, if you ask me that, what is a HANA, and so why HANA is more like focused in the market, so we're going to learn about that. So I'm going to give you a brief introductions to HANA today, and you need to understand that part, and we'll jump into other topics. Before that, let me give you a brief information to you. Nowadays, if you talk about HANA and BW, the systems has been changed. Nowadays, like if you say that, when we have a BW and I say 7.0, at the time we don't have any HANA concept. We were using a BW and backend system is either Oracle or we were using SQL. So these are the two database systems we were using in a BW 7.0 and 7.1. So when they introduced HANA, since BW belongs to SAP and HANA also belongs to SAP, then SAP start designing their own database, which is a HANA. So the primary purpose of HANA initial stage, it's only for database solution. Then they started adding or implementing more features related to data warehousing because we are working with the data warehousing. So they said that it is a BW powered by HANA on 7.4 and 7.5. The market right now we have a 7.5 of BW. It is BW powered by HANA, or we can also call BW on HANA. So this is a trend right now into most of the projects, but very few projects are moved to one more latest or the technology called BW4 HANA. The BW4 HANA is a completely a new concept, so we're not going to touch this one. So we're going to talk about BW 7.5, I can say BW powered by HANA. So now we are using HANA as a backend database and BW as a front end. So since we have this one, so I can use this data, I can view this data by using my HANA Studio. HANA Studio is a tool where you can see all your HANA database related all the components. So whatever is added into your database, you can see all the database components here in your HANA Studio. HANA Studio is going to be your front end tool. In this front end tool, you can start looking for all your things. So you can again use this database components. You can start designing your HANA models. So we're going to discuss about that one. This is a major purpose of your BW and BW on HANA. And right now, in the market, if you say that we have BW on HANA and we have ECC HANA. So these are the two systems right now available. So wherever you go, you join any projects, you have to remember they're going to talk about BW on HANA, ECC on HANA. So what does it mean? They made their ECC system also on backend HANA system. So still I can use the ECC data directly into my HANA Studio. I can start designing my models. So if you don't have BW, I can directly do this one. But couple of projects, couple of company. When I say projects, I'm talking about a companies. I'm talking about your new jobs. So a couple of projects, they have a both. They have a BW on HANA, ECC on HANA. And nowadays, they're going to also integrating with Hadoop. It's a very important concept. But we're not going to cover this Hadoop part. Hadoop is a completely different concept. So they're going to integrate Hadoop with the HANA also. So we're going to talk about little bit why they're integrating Hadoop with the HANA. What is the purpose of that? So this is a systems you're going to see in case if you get into a new job. So don't get panic. What are the systems will be available and all this stuff. So they'll be keep talking about BW on HANA, ECC on HANA. So your task is going to be, for example, if you ask me that, so what kind of jobs we can expect in the market? Like let's say, if you talk about HANA, in a HANA, I have three types of jobs. I can say HANA Developer, HANA Modeling Consultant, then I have HANA Admin. So there are three types of jobs, especially in HANA. So what is a HANA Developer? HANA Developer, it doesn't require to learn a new technology or something like that. You should know a little bit about a Java and JavaScript, and we're going to learn about Access. So these are the tools, or these are the like a components or like a programming tools they're going to use to design and develop HANA based applications. So this is not our codes. Our course is completely, we're going to be HANA modeler. So HANA modeler, we're going to use HANA database. Whatever the data we have stored here, we're going to use that to design a multi-dimensional modelings, or to design the info models like attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, and we're going to use a programming called SQL script. And we can do the tuning on the performance by using SQL script and all this stuff to on your information models. Then we can design your information models based on your HANA. So this is your role. Based on this course, this is what you're going to learn. Then coming back to admin is nothing but it's completely like a technical in the sense how to install servers, how to manage users, how to create a user accounts, how to provide access level, security. So these are all completely like a system administrator or network administrator we can call. So those kind of people, it's like a best matching this particular role. So our role is going to be completely a modeling consultant. Of course, people also call HANA developer. And whenever you say HANA developer, you have to understand one thing. Most of the people get confused here, and most of the people don't have a proper knowledge here. Whenever you say HANA development, there are two types of developments in HANA. One is called HANA native development. We can say native HANA. People used to call native HANA. And we have a development based on the third-party tools. Like we can do development by abap. You can do development by using Java. You can do development by using XML. You can do development by using JavaScript. You can do the development by using Access. So you can use all the third-party tools to start designing and development. So there are two different types of developers. So if you don't have all this concept, then it is not for you. Coming back to the native HANA is nothing but it's a HANA database, and it is not connected with the BW, or it is not connected with any other things. It is a standalone, I can say. For example, we are getting data from ECC into HANA. So we load all the data. Based on this data, I can design and develop HANA based like an information models. So I'm going to use only HANA owned programming called SQL script. So I'm not going to use all this abap, Java, and all this stuff. So this is a third party, this is a native. That's the reason people will call it a native development. Most of the time, the job description will be HANA native consultant, native HANA consultant. Lot of people get like confusion, or they don't have a clarity. What is a native HANA? A native HANA is nothing but it's like you're going to extract the data from the various data sources into HANA. Then you start designing the models, or you start designing and development of the models. That's the reason we call HANA native developer or native HANA developer. So this is a difference in between the development part. So people also call you as a HANA developer. So don't get panic that since I'm not aware of BW, I'm not aware of ABAP, Java, XML, JavaScript. So do they call me developer? Yes, of course. They can call you as a developer, native HANA developer, or they can call you as a modeling consultant. So these are two different jobs, but don't get confusion on this one. You have to first read the job description. If they mention that, I'm going to show you what they're going to mention in the job description, especially in a HANA job description. What kind of job is related to you? If you want to understand, if they mention in a job description attribute views, analytical views, calculation views, and if they mention procedures, they mention about SQL script, they mention about SLT, SDA, smart data access, then they're going to mention about smart data integration. If you see these keywords, or how they're going to mention, they say that we need a HANA consultant or native HANA consultant who can design and develop attribute views, analytical views, calculation, who will be like, able to write the procedures by using SQL script. They should have very good experience in SLT as a data extraction tool. They should have an experience as a smart data access, as a data extract. They're going to mention like this in your job description. If you see the job description, then yes, it is a match for you. So then you can understand, yes, I can apply for this job. So sometimes they will call this as a HANA developer, because the recruiter doesn't have a technical knowledge. So they simply mention developer, HANA developer. So don't get like worry about what is the title of the job. You have to check your job description very carefully. If all these keywords are mentioned, if it is matching, then this is a suitable for you, right? So these are the jobs related information, and they're going to talk about BW also. They say BW on HANA consultant. So how this kind of job description look like? If you say job description, they will talk all BW concepts. They'll say you should know HANA optimized info cubes. You should know HANA optimized DSO. You should know ODP. You should know like extractors. And you should know how to bring HANA models into BW. So they're going to mention all these things. So then you can say they're going to talk about HANA and they're going to talk about BW. They'll mention these two, the different tools, the components. They're going to mention HANA related job description. They're going to mention BW related job description. So if it is available, these keywords, then this is a match for you. You can apply for this job. So in this course, you're going to apply for this job as yes. Once you've done this course, yes, you can become a HANA BW on HANA consultant. You can be called as HANA consultant also. So both different types of jobs you can apply for after completion of this course. So this is a job related information. Okay, so once you've done this job related information, let's come back to the HANA. I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the HANA, guys, so then you can understand what is the purpose of HANA. So HANA, we can also call it is a high performance analytic appliance. When you talk about this high performance analytical appliance, so what exactly does means? You can say the word itself, high performance. High performance in the sense, yes, you can expect high level performance by using this particular tool. And this tool especially we're going to use for analytical purpose, analysis purpose. And this is an appliance. Appliance in the sense it provides you a service. It is a server. That's the reason we call it a high performance analytical appliance. But you can ask me a question. Do you mean that we don't have any high performance analytical appliance before HANA in the market? I can say yes, of course, it was not available. If we talk about high performance, whatever the high performance they used to call, it is nowhere matched to HANA. So HANA is the top of all the tools available in the market when you talk about high performance. Okay, so when I have existing tools, I told you that SAP has an initial plan to implement or introduce HANA as a database. Then you can ask me a question. We have plenty of databases available in the market before HANA. We have Oracle database, Microsoft database, SQL databases, IBM DB2, Sybase, blah, blah, blah. So what exactly made SAP to think about to introduce their own database? What was the problem exactly with the existing systems? Why they went for to design a new database system? So let's understand what exactly the reason SAP decided to design their own database system. So if you want to understand that, we need to first to find out what is the problem available in existing systems. So what is the problem? All the existing systems before HANA, the massive growth of your data day-to-day basis, and they are expecting immediate results, and they don't have enough skilled workforce to complete these activities. And whatever the existing systems they have, it's a very complicated landscape. I'm going to talk about what is a landscape as well. And high flexibility. So these are the major problems available in existing systems, which is a main reason to end up with a new database system called HANA. Now you can ask me a question: why you bother about the massive growth of data now? Why not earlier? It's a very good question, right? So why I'm thinking about the data, the growth now? Why not in earlier? Earlier in the sense, let's take it down the line for 10 years back or 15 years back. If we talk about 10 years back and 50 years back, we don't have internet facility that much what is available right now. It's widely available all over the world. If you go back to the 10 years back, only the top countries they used to have internet facility, but not what is available right now, like a higher speed or like a smartphones. So all the banking systems, we don't have internet banking systems in earlier. We got an internet banking systems, and even you can do the banking transaction by using your smartphone. So what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this, when they have the banking system and smartphone, they got the more customers. When they get the more customers, the data has been keep increasing and day by day. This is exactly what is the reason of the massive data growth in present situation comparing with the years back. Okay, so this is a problem with once you have a huge data, the system, the existing legacy systems what you have, it is not possible to run on expected time, because those systems are not expected to do heavy load of the data. See, for example, if you take Oracle database, it has been introduced in a 30 years back. We never expected that 30 years back Oracle is going to manage the heavy load of the data. So they keep changing that one. So once you have a heavy load of the data, it is very difficult to you to manage or process the data on time. So what does it mean? For example, let's say you go to an ATM machine, you try to withdraw. For example, let's say I'm going to withdraw at $100. When I done the withdrawal of $100, I'm going to expect the receipt from the system. The receipt, how the receipt is going to print? The system is going to check in your account balance, and it's going to check how much amount you have withdrawn. It is going to deduct that amount from your current balance. It has to do a calculation from your account, and it has to print that information in your machine. This calculation has to be done in out of millions of customers, right? It has to find out who you are and where is your account, where is your record. So it has to search millions of records, find out your particular record, find out the current balance, do the calculation, get the remaining balance, print it out. So it has to do a lot of process. If you have a huge data, this process gets slower. This is exactly where high performance comes to the picture, right? So this is the reason why high performance came to the picture. If you want to ask about what is the data, is it really data making a big problem in a present market in the world? Yes. If you see on the screen, I have mentioned a couple of social media companies here. Everybody knows what is a Facebook and Twitter, Blogger. I have YouTube and all this stuff. I don't need to explain what is these organizations we do. Let's take an example of YouTube. Do you know how much the data YouTube is getting? Let's say go here. You can see this one. For example, let's say YouTube every 1 minute, 60 seconds, they're getting around 60 plus new videos. The duration of these videos is going to be every 1 minute, they're getting a 25 hours of total duration. This is a survey has been done. This survey is available in your Google. You can search for this one. So there is a huge data. If you talk about Facebook, They have around 695,000 status has been updating on each and every minute. Just imagine how much data they're getting. For 1 minute they're getting this data. Just imagine for 1 hour how much data they're getting. They're getting a plenty, huge of data. So they have to store this data. At the same time, they have to process this data on time. That is where exactly the challenge comes to the picture. For example, let's take YouTube. Just imagine YouTube. If YouTube is not processing the data on time, everyone get irritated. If you talk about the present generation, each and everyone addicted to YouTube and Facebook. The majority of the people, I can say 90% of the people always watching YouTube or on Facebook. What in case if the YouTube video is not playing continuously for 1 minute? So you will close down. Once you close down the window, the YouTube is going to lose a customer. They cannot play their advertisement. YouTube is earning money just like publishing advertisements for each and every video. If they don't publish advertisement, they don't earn money. Then company get into a loss. So they want to overcome these challenges. So always they have to process the data on time. Let it be it is a 5 minutes video or 3 hours video. They have to process continuously, irrespective of how many people are watching this. For example, if you have a high viral videos, there will be like worldwide, most of the people watching at a time. For example, millions of people watching at the same time. Then the bandwidth comes to the picture, the processing of the video on time comes to the picture. These are all the major challenges they have to overcome this. So this is where exactly they're depending on high performance softwares. They're depending on big data storages like a Hadoop and big data. This is all the different story. So I'm just explaining to you what exactly the data exploitation making a big problem in present generation for the major social media companies. This is exactly why they're depending on high performance systems. This is exactly what HANA stands for. HANA stands for High Performance Analytical Appliance. So it provides you high performance. You can do analysis. You can store into your appliance. And you have to remember that HANA major purpose is a database management system. It is a relational database management system. And why it is more effective comparing in other relational database management systems in the market? If it is just RDBMS system, I have a Oracle is RDBMS system. So what is the difference between other RDBMS systems and HANA? The major difference here it is like in memory. HANA has an in-memory capability. In-memory means all the data stored in the memory. This is a key point here. This is going to help not wasting any time loading the data from hard disk to RAM or processing the data from the RAM and storing temporarily some on the disk. So if you process the data from hard disk to RAM and then the RAM to your output, it will take some time. But if you process the data directly from the RAM to output, it's like no waste of time. But are you going to store the data in a hard disk? Yes, absolutely. We are going to store the data in hard disk always. But you have to understand the concept here. Let me explain to you that how the system is going to work. Most of the people get confusion here. See, the people think that it is not going to store anywhere. It is going to only store in your in your memory. No, that is completely wrong. It is going to store the data in your hard disk also. For example, let's say that this is my hard disk and you say this is my RAM. So if you say this is your RAM and this is my monitor, if I add any data, it's going to store in your hard disk, and this is your RAM, and this will be pausing like this. For example, I have a record here. If I want to read the record, when I give input commands to open the record will be processed to memory, and memory process the record to your output. So the transfer of this hard disk to the RAM, this is where exactly we're wasting a 90% of time. Once it reaches to the RAM, it will take only 10% of time to get into the output. This is where exactly the performance comes to the picture. This is your regular system. When you talk about HANA, how HANA is going to work, whenever I add a record, the record will be stored into your hard disk. First, whenever I start opening the record, start reading the record will be loaded into your RAM. There is a RAM, there is a certain memory allocation here. So the memory allocation, what happens is it will going to store your record here and start reading that. Next time if I start opening the same record, it is not going to the hard disk. It is directly read from the memory. So this is called loading the data into memory. We're going to talk about what is the loading data into memory. So the memory will be here. The records will be here. For example, let's say I have reading 100 records today, 100 records in memory. What happens in case if you lose your power? If you restart your system, you know very well, or everyone knows very well, RAM is only a temporary storage, temporary. It's not a permanent storage. When you restart the system, they're going to lose the data. It becomes zero. So where is the data? The data is still available here. So when you restart the system is going to restart, and again it is going to load the data initially into again RAM. So this is how the system is going to load the data again into the RAM. So now I got 100 records. If I want to open the same 100 records tomorrow, I don't need to go back to hard disk. No, I can read from here unless until if you don't restart the system, always the data will be available here. You can ask me a question, sir, if it is 100 records, it's a very simple. What in case if I have a millions of record? Let's say that I have around 1 millions of record, like I can say 1 billions of record. I load into the RAM. So the RAM capacity, for example, let's say 16 TB. Let's say I got around 15 TB occupied. Then what happens? I don't have enough space to load the data into RAM. So in this case, what happens is whatever the data you load into RAM, always the data has an option called unload on priority basis. The priority will be stored 0 to 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. What does it mean? It means that, for example, today you loaded a 10 records. Then next day you loaded again 100 records. So totally I have 110. For example, I have a capacity only 115. Then what happens is I don't have a space to load another 10 records. The next day I want to load another 10 records. Then how do you load? You have only capacity for another 5 records because the data has been filled up. The memory allocation is not available. There is no space in the memory. So in this case, for each and every table, each and every record, what happens is we have called unload priority. So unload priority, if it is like a 0, it's going to whatever the 0 it's going to hit, then those records will be unloaded automatically from the memory. It is going to check is there any unload priority. So any record starts with a 0, it will be unloaded first. Then any record starts with the 1, next 2, next 3. It is going to check if any record starts with the 5, it will unload after all these record unloaded. So once the record getting automatically unloading, so it is going to make some space on your memory. This is exactly what is a memory allocation here. Automatically this is going to be done by your system. You don't need to worry about that one. But when you're creating a table, we're going to specify that what is your unload priorities and all this stuff. That has to be taken care. So once you set up this one, the rest of things will be taken care by the system, which we don't need to worry about that one. This is how beautifully it's going to work your HANA system, right? So no need to worry about how much space has been occupied and how much space has been available. So this is exactly how the data loads into memory, right? So everything is in memory all the time. What does it mean? It will give you a very quick access to your data for processing. This is exactly your high performance of HANA system. And I can use HANA as a database system. I can use HANA as an application platform. I can design and develop my own applications. It stores the data and processes the data from the main memory. We can also control which data has to store in the disk and memory by using a load and unload functions. So you can always have a full control on your data. HANA is an appliance. It is a software which works with your with your hardware, whatever the hardware has been built. So it is an appliance. It's like providing you server services as well. I can use HANA as a data mart, as a database, as an accelerator, as a cloud integrator, as a mixed approach database plus data mart, and I can use HANA as a development platform where I can design native HANA applications, non-native HANA applications, right? So what is a data mart? Data mart is nothing but, for example, let's say I have a HANA system. So I can extract the data from non-SAP systems by using a tool called Business Objects Data Services, SLT, DXE, Smart Data Access. These are all the tools we're going to use to extract the data from business use suite or from BW or from non-SAP systems. Get the data into HANA, start designing the data models, then consume those data models into your reporting tools called business objects or third-party reports. So this is completely a data mart. I can use HANA as a database. I just explained to you SAP HANA on ECC system. See, SAP BW on HANA, SAP ECC on HANA. I can use like this. Or I can use HANA as a OLTP system or OLAP system. These are two different systems are there. It is called online transaction processing systems, online analytical processing systems. And I can use HANA only for BW. I can use HANA only for ECC as a backend database. So this is a database concept. I can use HANA as an accelerator. What is an accelerator? It will improve the performance, reporting performance. For example, let's say down the line 4 or 5 years back, I have a ECC system on top of Oracle. So if you have on top of Oracle, how do you do that one? If you want to create a reports, I have to extract the data into HANA database, then start creating a report. It is taking a lot of time, right? So based on that, what I can do is I can install one HANA database system separately, right? Then I can send all the data into HANA. Whenever I create a record, it will automatically goes to HANA. So it is a mirror copy. So when I have a mirror copy, then I can create a reports on top of my HANA system. Earlier, we used to create a reports on top of a third-party systems. So here I am going to use HANA as a secondary database for reporting purpose only, not for BW, not for HANA. It's only for reporting purpose as a secondary database, right? That is called, it is going to improve your reporting performance, right? So here it's a very important concept. I'm going to talk about your landscape. Whenever people call you, talk about landscape, don't get panic. Landscape is nothing but how many systems available in your current company or current project. For example, let's say any company, they might have they have a database. Okay, let me go back. Let me take my pen. Let's say, for example, if you talk about any company, they might have a database systems like Oracle or SQL, and they might have a data warehousing system like BW, or you can say Informatica, any other third-party systems, and they say reporting tools. Reporting tools, I can say business objects or Tableau or Quickly. So these are the various systems they're going to use. We call it is a landscape. So how many systems are you using to produce your solutions for your organization? That is called the landscape. If you talk about, like, let's say for example, old way, I have a old way landscape and new the method of landscape. I have a HANA system here. I have a old existing landscape. So what exactly the difference in between these two systems? So this is what I'm going to talk about here. So let's say I have a old system. I have the data stored in my database. Okay. For example, they gave you activity. You have to create a report based on the database. So then how do you do that one? You're going to extract the data into operational data source. Why? I have already data here. Can I use directly? No. No one will give you access directly using the data from the database because we cannot touch this one. So they'll give you a copy of the data into your operational data store. From here you can start working. So from here I will use ETL tool in between to extract the data into data warehouse. Let's say your BW system. Then I do indexing for performance purpose. I'll do aggregation or calculations on my data or analysis. Then I will send this data to reporting tool for reporting purpose. Then I have to do all calculation end of the day. I will give this report to the management. This is exactly my landscape. So if you observe in this landscape, I have a database systems. Let's say Oracle or whatever it is. I have a ODS. I have a data warehousing system. I have a reporting system. How many systems I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 systems I have. This is my landscape. I'm ending up with a solution here. What in case any system get crash? Can I produce the reports? No. Entire your landscape will get collapse. This is a problem with the existing landscapes. So the same thing, for example, let's say I have 100 records here. Then after designing my 100 records as a report, I can produce here. Tomorrow I will get another 100 records. So these 100 records has to go through all the landscape, then to reaching to the customer. For example, you want to see 200 records. It will take some time. It's a time consuming. So there is a latency between the data creation and data analytical usage. That is called data latency, right? And it is very expensive infrastructure. So to manage this infrastructure, what happens? I need one database admin, we call DBA. I need a BW consultant. I need a business objects reporting consultant. It's a manpower is required, right? Okay, so this is a biggest problem or challenge in existing system. If I want to implement HANA, how are we going to overcome this issue? In HANA, let's say you have data in your business database systems, directly loading into in-memory and sending to reporting to. Do you have any complicated landscape here? No. Do you have any more systems here? No. Do you need any more human resource here? No. And it is 1,000 times faster because data is in memory. No optimization is required. More data in less space and faster business intelligence solutions. This is exactly why your HANA is a hotcake in the market, right? So very easy landscape, not expensive. No need to recruit a lot of resources to manage this, and no need to worry about your landscape, any crash or something like that, any kind of what you call downtime or all this stuff. No need to worry about this one. This is exactly makes your system more easy. That's the reason why the companies are running behind your landscape and why the companies are running behind HANA system. Fine. So this is a very basic information to you. What is the purpose of HANA and why the HANA is a very high performance system, and why it is like a hotcake in the market and every company is migrating into HANA. What is the main reason? This is a particular session is give you more information about this one. I think now you got some clarity on this, right? Fine guys, this is what exactly a small introduction to HANA system, and we explained to you what you're going to work on this particular course. And I'm going to open a question and answer session, so you guys can go ahead and shoot your questions whatever you have. So I'm going to unmute all of you one by one. You guys, I'm unmuted. You can unmute yourself and you can start speaking with me. You can click on unmute.
Yeah. Hi, Kiran. This is Kamal.
Yeah, please go
What
ahead.
is the fees for this course?
Yeah, it is going to be a 9 weeks of course. It's going to be 1.5 month, sorry, 2.5 months, and you're going to get a 3 months server access free, and the course is going to be $500.
35.
Yeah, because it's a couple of courses where mixing in this course. It's not a one single course. You're going to learn two different courses, three different courses, I can say.
Hi, can you share me that course content once to have a look?
Yeah, I'm going to send you the course content. I have already explained this course content in the beginning of the class. These are the course content. I'm going to send you for each and every one. And the
Yep, sure.
course content is going to be only learning for your the topics, but we're going to spend most of the time on real-time scenarios. For example, if I want to design a views in real time, what is a task, how are you going to get it, and what is the requirement, how do you understand that, then how do you start building. This is a place exactly we're going to spend a lot of time. That's the reason I'm repeating again, it is a on job based training, so which is going to help you if you get into any project. You can do the work, whatever the work is assigned to you, without any dependency. Fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Kiran, regarding the server access, like on-job training means like what kind of server access do we get?
You're going to get an access to BW server, HANA server, a BOBJ server, and business objects data services, ECC server. Totally, you're going to get 5 to 6 systems. Is it clear?
Yeah, okay. Like and project experience, like how are you going to show us all this like transport? Do you have a real-time system or
Yeah, I
what?
have in the systems. We're going to show you that how do we transport from one system to another system. Okay, I have a system built up, and if you go through the class, it will be easy. First of all, it is easy to understand also. Then you can jump into projects. You can use the same procedure to transport the objects.
Okay. Now the thing is, I'm not working in SAP right now, so I have no idea like how
No
it
need to worry
works. So
about that one. I will take care of that. I'll make sure that you will be good into transporting the objects. Everything, not only that particular. I can talk everything. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Yes, hello Kiran. My question is the server prepared to execute the examples? Will you have
Can you be a
yes?
little more louder?
Please, can you explain me where the server is prepared to execute some examples?
The question is the server is prepared to execute the examples? This is what your question?
Yes.
Yes, of course. We have a server we're going to design. For example, let's say I have a server here. I'm going to use this server to start designing your models and execute that one. But these servers are only for education purpose. This comes with education license. So it is only for training purpose. But I'm going to show you how it looks like in a real time. Okay, no need to worry about that one. So we can do all what you can do in real time in the same system. Let's say, see, I have here HANA Studio. This is a business objects data services. Then this is your HANA system. I can say HANA systems. I have a BW 7.5 on HANA, BW 7.5 on SQL Server, ECC Server. So I have a 3 servers here, HANA Studio, data services. Then I have a business objects. These are all the business objects tools where you can go ahead and start designing your BO reports. So we're going to learn all these things. Okay. Any more questions?
How will be the course times? It's always the same time like today?
I will be discussing with all the people and we'll fix one timing, and it is like according to their convenient. I'm going to check what is a majority of people are going to give you any time, and we're going to fix that particular time. It will be in the in a US timings. It will be in the evenings only. In India timings, it will be in the mornings. Yeah,
Yeah, Kiran, so when are we going? I mean, when is it going to start?
little louder, please.
Yeah, when is the course going to start?
We're going to start the course in next week. I'm going to fix it in the next week. Most probably, the people will be like checking with all the people once again, and I will start in next week. It will be on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Will we get a script for the lessons?
Every class will be recorded, and every class recording session will be shared with all the participants. And you're going to get recorded classes, and you're going to get materials. You're going to get the server access. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Is it clear, everyone? Any more questions?
When will it start? And Tuesday or on Thursday?
It will be in it will be in a CST.
Okay, thank you.
CST, it will be like little late evening. It will be 8 p.m. or I can say 8:30 p.m. because the people will be coming back from the offices, right? Even I have to come back from offices, so you get some time to refresh, 1 or 2 hours. Then we can start the course. And the same time, it will be like in IST. It will be morning, so it won't be any difficult for people to attend. It will be 7 a.m. I believe in India. If it is 8:30 in CST, it will be 7 a.m. in IST. So for the both two different region people, it will be comfortable. Yeah. Go ahead. Anyone have questions? Any more? Okay, fine guys, I'll be ending this class now. I'll be sharing this the demo video with you people. I'll be sending the course contents and the server details and everything to you. And in case I have one more demo session also tomorrow, day after tomorrow. There are a few more people coming back from the different regions. They are not able to join today's class. So it will be different timings actually. So once I've done that one, I'll be sharing with all the people. Please send me your confirmation registration so that I will take your name. There won't be like more seats available in my webinar. My webinar is restricted to only maximum is 20 people for class. But in different timings, I can have a different number of people. But one shot, I'm going to take maximum is 20 people. So please confirm your seat so that I can make sure that there won't be any disturbance in this. Fine. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend. I'll be sending you all this information to you today night. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Okay.